This is the game called the duodecim script game, also known as the table game. It consists of the board with 24 spaces, 12 on each side.
The table game is played with two players sitting across from each other. Each player has 15 pieces to play. Players play in a turn according to the rule of 3 dice.
The object of the game is to get to the last quadrant of the game with all your pieces and leave the game through space 24. In a time-controlled game, the object of the game is to block space 24 with 2 of your pieces.
You need to decide who will start the game.
You do that by throwing the dice and checking who has a higher score.
In turns, each player throws the dice. Each piece can move according to the points in one dice. Players can also add the points of the dice and move further along the board. This means that you can move 3 pieces, 1 per each dice, 2 pieces, addition of 2 dice plus 1 dice, or 1 piece, adding 3 dice.
A player can move several pieces to the space where he already has one of his piece or to a space where his opponent has one.
A piece resting alone in a space on the board is vulnerable to being hit and so is captured. However, a piece cannot be moved to a space where there are several pieces of his opponent.
In a time-controlled game, if a player blocks space 24 with 2 of his pieces, he wins the game. A player's pieces can only leave the board through space 24 if they are all on the board. In a time-controlled game, if a player blocks space 24 with 2 of his pieces, he wins the game.
This is a game called the Ludus Latrocularum game, also known as the soldier game.
It consists of a board of 36 squares where opponents will try to capture as many opponent pieces as possible.
The soldier game is played with 2 players sitting across from each the other. Each player has 16 pieces to play and on books or general.
The object of the game is to capture as many opponents' pieces as possible. You need to decide who will start the game.
This game is called the Siga game. It consists of a board of 25 squares where opponents will try to capture as many opponents' pieces as possible.
The Siga game is played with 2 players sitting across from each other. Each player has 12 pieces to play.
The object of the game is to capture as many opponents' pieces as possible.
You need to decide who will start the games.
You can do that by playing rock, paper, scissors. In turns, each player puts 2 pieces on the board, one per square, except on the central square. When all the pieces are on the board, the player who made the last play makes the next play.
In turns, each player moves one piece to an adjacent space, never diagonally, including the central square, with the intention to capture the opponent's pieces.
In order to do that, he has to block one opponent's piece between 2 of his own vertically or horizontally.
However, the central piece can never be captured. The piece state captures can keep on playing if there are other captures possible with it.
When a player cannot move any of his pieces, the other player makes a move to open the game again.
Each player can create a barrier, filling an entire row, keeping all his pieces behind that row.
When that happens, the player with more pieces wins.
Welcome to CENTURIUM Ancient Roman Board Games.
We are here now to present to you the game called the Marilla's game, also known as the Mill game.
It consists of 3 concentric rectangles, where opponents line 3 board pieces, generating a mill.
The mill game is played with 2 players sitting across from each other. Each player has 9 pieces to play.
The object of the game is to generate as many mills as you can and capture your opponent's pieces or trap your opponent so no move can be made.
You need to decide who will start the game. You can do that by playing rock, paper, scissors.
In turns, each player puts 1 piece on the board with the intention of aligning 3 pieces and thus generating a mill. When all the pieces are on the board, each player will move 1 piece along the lines marked on the board. The piece can move forward adjacently 1 space. Board pieces cannot jump.
When a player aligns 3 pieces, he generates a mill and he can remove 1 piece from his opponent, except those which form a mill. Only you can undo your mill. However, if a player moves 1 piece of his mill, he can only come back to the same position after 3 plays.
To win the game, you need to capture all your opponent's pieces but 2, or trap your opponent so no move can be made.